So now we've got the first test written. We haven't actually executed anything yet, but there is what looks to be a good test. So we've tested the first test case in our test plan. And so we know we've got this first test case where quantity is 1, expected return is 80. Now we're going to clone that first test case to create these other 4 test cases that we're going to do. And remember, we're leaving off 6 and 7 just as a matter of time right now. So when you're cloning, you got to start with the word, with the attribute test method. If you don't have that, then Visual Studio won't recognize what you're building as being a test. So we had return 80 when quantity 1. Now we want return 80 when quantity 9. And we have to remember here to change the value to 9. Okay, so now we've got test case 2 done. Test case 3, we expect to get 7235 when the quantity is 10. So here I'll set quantity to 10 and expected result to $72.35. And then I'll clone this again. And we want return 7235 when quantity is 19. So I'll make that change there and to the quantity here. And then for the last one we're going to do, I'll grab this test method, clone it down here, and we'll say 67.99 when quantity is 20. So reset quantity to 20, and then expected result is $67.99. Okay, so now we have managed to build all of these tests, and we've got no errors, so everything's looking good so far. This will all compile, we know. So the next step is to run the tests. So how are you going to do that? Well, first, you need to bring up the Test Explorer. To do that, in the main menu up here, up on the top, you select Test, and then you'll see down here there's an entry called Test Explorer. So click on that, and you'll see you get this this new window that has Test Explorer on the top, some interesting symbols here, and then you'll see it's got this thing that says Unit Test Project 1. Well, it turns out that name comes from here. And if we expand this, you'll see, and we expand this, you'll see that there are 5 unit test projects and 5 tests. And there's a test class called Find Price Per Anvil Should, and it has these actual tests. So the cool thing about this naming is that now it reads Find Price Per Anvil should return $67.99 when quantity is 20, return $72.35 when quantity is 10, return 72, blah, 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 blah. So it becomes something that's nice and readable. Well, what we have to do now is to do a run all from the Test Explorer. If you just use the regular start button, this is the effect you get. I'm just going to click start here, and I get this message. A project with output type of class library can't be started directly. Now, if we had a console app here, it would start with no problem. But without a console app, you can't just start a program. So that's just not going to work. And if you see that dialog box, you will know that this is what you've done. So what you do is come over here and select this to run all tests, or you can go to the test menu item and click run all tests from there. So I'll do that. So the tests are running, and boom, here they come. Now they've got all of these dire looking X's next to them. All of the tests failed. Well, why do you think they failed? Well, let's take a look at what we see here when we select a particular test. Look down here. Assert R equal failed. We expected 6799, but the actual result was 999. So 999 is what we wrote find price per anvil to return. So it returns a bad value. We expected 6799 though. So then the same thing for all of these as we click through. You'll see down here that you get this note that the assert failed. Now you can also see that here the tests have run and that there are, they've all failed too. You can see the little red X there. And if you click on it, you can see why it failed. So in order for the test to pass, we need to finish writing the method under test. So what we're going to do is add code that will return the price. So we're just going to build us a little range check here, and we're going to put in purposefully an erroneous bit of code. So we've got quantity coming in. We want to be able to return a price. So we'll create a decimal value called price. So we've declared that variable. Then we can say here, if quantity is less than 10, wow, quantity less than 10, price equals 80. Else if quantity less than 20, price equal, what was it? Let's come back up here, take a look. I think it's 7235. Let's just make sure. 7235. Else, got to put the M there. Else, price equal 67. It should be 67.99, but I'm going to put 67.98 just so this test will fail again. Okay, and then at the end we will return price. Okay. Now, I'll go ahead and apologize for this now. I should have a check that says if quantity is less than 1, return 0. But since we're not testing that, I didn't want to muck around with it and confuse things. So if you notice that, good for you, but that's not what I'm concerned about right now. So now, okay, we deliberately mess up But now we're going to run the tests, and we'll see everything succeeds except for the test that we deliberately messed up. So here we go, and now you'll see that there are these nice pleasant check marks where for these 4 tests, but we've still got one that shows the appalling X. So if we come over here to the unit test, we can see, okay, we expected 67.99. And if we look at the test itself, we can see we were expecting 67.99, but the actual was 67.98. Well, something's wrong, and we know from our test cases that the problem lies here with find price class. So I need to change that from 67.98 to 67.99, and then we'll run the tests again. So now we fixed the code and everything passed.